Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode about the Surge XT. Today we talk about frequency modulation. There are a couple of different ways you can apply frequency modulation. The easiest one is to use Oscillator FM Routing. By default it is set to no FM, but we can choose between 3 different FM routing. In all these settings, Oscillator 1 will be the carrier frequency, while Oscillator 2 and 3 will be the modulators. So let's take a look at the first option, that is 2 modulates 1. So Oscillator 2 will modulate the frequency of Oscillator 1. As you can see, we can now change the frequency modulation depth. So we can tweak the modulator. I don't want the sawtooth. Let's use maybe a triangle. Let's change its pitch, so -7, a fifth below our carrier frequency, which is a classic sawtooth. And this is with some frequency modulation. Sounds very noisy and sounds like a very raw sound. That's why frequency modulation is most of the time applied to simple, very simple waveforms, like a sine wave. So instead of using this classic sawtooth, let's switch to a sine wave and let's keep the same modulator and let's have a listen to the different tone. We can decrease the FM amount. Fantastic. Now we can move on to the second routing, that is Oscillator 3 modulates 2 and 2 modulates the frequency of Oscillator 1. This routing is very chaotic and very noisy. We can change wave for the third oscillator, maybe a modern sawtooth, and let's take a listen. I really love these sounds, very glitchy and very experimental. Now let's keep the same settings and let's try to use the last routing, that is both Oscillator 2 and 3 are modulating the frequency of Oscillator 1. Second way you can add frequency modulation. So we can initialize the patch to the default one. If you take a look at the available waveforms, we have this sine, which is a different version compared to the modern waveforms. So if we select sine, we can see that we have feedback and shape. This waveform algorithm was designed to create a mini FM synth, where we can change the shape of the Oscillator 1, so our carrier frequency, and we can change the Oscillator 1 behavior, so the FM algorithm from Legacy, which was the older version used by Surge until version 1.6, and FM2 3, which is a standard algorithm where we have 2 or 3 modulators. The next method is to use the dedicated FM algorithms. These are actual synth voices designed to make FM only. We have the variation FM2, which uses 2 modulators and 1 single carrier frequency, and FM3 that uses, as the name suggests, 3 modulators. These 2 algorithms are designed for a different purpose. If you're looking for a more classic sound, you should go for FM2, while if you want to create more experimental and noisy, chaotic sounds, you should definitely go for FM3 because oscillators have extended range, so you can produce very noisy and unpredictable frequency modulations. Now let's take a listen to FM2 first. Now let's take a listen to FM3, but before let me turn down the volume a bit. One last thing before ending this video. You can also change the type of frequency modulation. Let's say that I want to design a very soft and vintage sound inside FM2. You can right click and you have vintage FM for the feedback type. So the feedback, if set to surge, it will go crazy. As you can see from the waveform here, it gets very noisy. If we use vintage FM, you can see that the waveform changes dramatically. It's a completely different waveform and can be used to blend from a sine wave to a sawtooth. And as you can see, it gets very noisy, approaching very high values, which was not the same for the surge feedback type. As you can see, starting from 200%, we start introducing noisy frequencies. Now let's take a listen to the vintage FM compared to the standard one. So let's set both of them to 200%. Let's take a listen. I really hope this video was useful for you. If so, I invite you to leave a thumb up, subscribe to support my channel, and don't forget to write a comment and tell me how you use Surge and if there's any specific topic you would like me to cover in the next videos. As always, thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao, ciao!